Okay, so this is I'm hoping is a quick video. I would think so. This really isn't anything big. This is what I consider quite possibly the most useless piece of paper ever. Okay, it is so useless, as I have stated before. It's so useless you could literally wipe your ass with it because it has nothing to offer. So what is this? Well, this is a manual, of course. It is a manual for this thing. What is this? Well, it is a Panasonic JT-H320HT. So you can see it says operating instructions. You would think that when it says operating instructions, you would assume operating instructions in terms of how to actually use the device, how to configure the device, how to troubleshoot the device, blah 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 blah. Well, you'll be dead wrong on that. You see, it calls it handheld computer. In fact, Panasonic likes to drive that a lot. You see, handheld computer. Yeah, it's a computer. I'll tell you that, it's a computer. A really dumb one at that, though. But yeah, so you know, these are the content listings. You see, you got read me first, getting started, operation, and then the appendix. Then it shows you all that bullshit on the side. So look at this. Read me first. Thank you for purchasing the Panasonic handheld computer. You see, they're thanking you because they know you're gonna have a hell of a time trying to configure the goddamn thing. And when I mean hell of a time, I mean a hellish time. Yeah. So, you know, it talks about the warranty, the laser, regulation garbage. So you see already the first couple pages of the goddamn manuals is the type of shit that Panasonic has to put in, so that means they won't get charged or fined or sued, any other type of garbage, you know. You know, the battery packs, usual shit, don't eat it, you know, don't stick it up your ass, you know, don't short circuit it, you know, don't make a makeshift bomb out of it, you know, that type of garbage. So, you know, over here they show you the confirmation of accessories that you will receive with the device. So here's what you will receive. You'll receive the main unit. Wow. You'll receive the hand strap. You'll receive the battery pack, the stylus, and this document. That's it, bro. That's it. That's all you're getting. You're not getting anything else. And it is true. I have the box for it. Like, I have the complete kit. You literally did not get anything else. And, you know, it shows you the parts and functions. So it shows you the LCD panel. Yeah, bro, I know that. The indicator light. The triggers. You know, it's like the type of shit that, like, you would obviously know. And then, you know, it's like the scan window. It's like, you see, the battery pack cover. The battery pack cover lock. Why the fuck do you need to, you know, the charging terminal? Yeah, you know, the contacts. You know, the scanner, the buzzer, the strap hole, and you know, it shows you a little tutorial on how you would put in the strap. I would think that most people would already figure that shit out, but hey, you know, you got the front layout, so it shows you the scan button. Again, it shows you the keypad and your function keys. It shows you the power button, as if it isn't clearly demonstrated on the fucking corner of the handheld. Power. Again, I don't know. It tells you auto power off. Yep. How to replace the battery pack. Yeah. How to charge the unit, and it literally shows you a visual on how you would stick the unit in the cradle, as if it's the most complicated thing for you to figure out. You see, your charging indicator lights, how you would scan a barcode. You know, it's like, you see, this is with me, the 2D imager, because I have the E2 model. You see, it shows you, you see this is how you scan a barcode with it. And it's like, yeah, bro, everyone knows this. Then he's like, then it's like, about connections with another device. And you see, this is where it gets retarded, okay? Because it's like, it tells you what it does. It has Bluetooth, and it does have wireless LAN. You know, Wi-Fi. It has those too. Yes, it does. That is true. but it does not tell you how you would configure it, how you would use the utilities. It does not tell you any of that. It only tells you that it has those. And then it just tells you shit like that communication may not be established if there's power lines nearby. You know, the typical garbage that literally everyone knows about. Then it shows you how to care for the device, how you would clean it. Then the troubleshooting, which you would think troubleshooting may actually be giving you something. Bro, it is literally so useless. It is stuff that you would figure out on your own. Look, symptom. Nothing is displayed on LCD even after power on. The solution. The battery pack may not be charged. The battery may be old. Display on the LCD disappears even while the power is on. Auto power off may be active. Display on the LCD disappears soon after power on. The battery pack may not be charged. The battery pack may be old. Barcodes cannot be scanned properly. Wipe the scanner. The battery pack may not be charged. The battery pack may be old. Radio communication is impossible. The battery pack. The battery pack is the same shit. Then it's like, refer to the notes, and it's like telling you, well, you could be close to a power line. Oh my lord almighty. If the problem cannot be resolved even after checking, try the following. If an alternative unit is available, check the details. Contact service. Then, you know, it shows you the optional accessories. To purchase these items, contact your dealer. The battery charger, the cradle, and the USB cradle. And then it shows you the spec sheet. And yeah, you know, it has an IMX 400, you know, IMX 27 400 megahertz Freescale CPU C6. You know, you could develop apps using Visual Studio 2008. It has 64 megabytes of RAM. It has a 32 megabyte ROM. You know, that type of garbage. You know, it has an LCD, touchscreen, resistive touch. Yeah, it has a keypad, 28 keys, backlit. Yeah, it has a 2D CMOS imager. These are all the symbologies you can read. These are the buzzer, the value, typical garbage that, you know. Yeah. The very end. More. Environment, dimensions, weight. And then it shows you the breakdown between the two different sub models, the E1 and the E2. The laser. The E1 is the laser. The E2 is the imager. All of them have Bluetooth, wireless, and a touch panel. Then it shows you your trademarks, and then it tells you not to throw away. You know, save the environment. The very back, it shows you these operating instructions can still be downloaded online. Panasonic Systems Networks Corporation is Limited, printed in Japan. Copyright 2011. And yeah, that's it. That's it. As I said, this is literally the most useless manual on earth. It literally covers nothing. It literally tells you nothing. It's like the manual thinks you're fucking stupid or something like that. And I am not joking, that is literally the only documentation you will ever get with these devices. You look online, you are going to find a spec sheet, which is basically a reiteration of this manual, and then you're going to find this manual, which the manual is useless. So, suppose you don't know how to configure the WLAN on the wireless client within the device. Well, you gotta figure that out on your own. Suppose you do not know how to use config loader or config tool. You gotta learn that on your own. Do you see, Panasonic assumes that you know how to configure the goddamn device. And as I said, there is literally no documentation I would know of that for these devices. Same with literally anything else. You go online and you're gonna find nothing about these devices. And yeah, you know, it's BS. You see, with the H320, at least with the H320, the utilities are bundled in. The H300 is worse because it has nothing bundled in. So you gotta fetch them on your own. And I think that's because Panasonic is assuming that you will have to contact them or your dealer that would have bought from Panasonic in the first place to hand you those utilities. And I'll tell you this, I have spent hours, weeks, months trying to find those utilities, any manuals, any nothing, any leads, nothing. I was basically sleuthing throughout the entire net trying to find the goddamn anything. I finally found a website from Panasonic. I went to the website, there was an email. I emailed them in a desperate attempt asking them, okay, do you guys have anything? What did I get in the email? A big fat fuck you telling me, no, sorry bro, these devices are, they're no longer in support. Thank you, have a nice day. Okay, thank you very much. At the very end, CSDN, I think that's the website. Because I'm telling you, searching in English didn't work. I had to search in Japanese and in Chinese. And CSDN finally showed me something for the H300. And CSDN operates on premiums and all that type of garbage. I literally had to pay some guy, I think $4 to download the goddamn files for me, share them via Google Drive, so that means I could properly configure my H300. You see, the H320 is a pain, but the H300 is really worse. So, yeah. And even then, obviously, they do not come with any instructions or any of that type of bullshit, so I had to be the one who had to figure all this type of garbage on my own. And, you know, again, you know, they should probably mention that here. You know, if you think most other guys are like this, they are not. Okay, an example would be, let's say, the Scorpio X3, the Dialogic Scorpio X3. It has a very long manual, very long. It literally shows you everything, how you configure the device, the utilities, everything, how you warm boot it, cold boot it, that type of garbage. This thing literally shows you nothing. So, again, yeah. So why would I waste my time with these things? Well, I don't know why. It's not like they're broken, they work, so yeah. Also because I paid money for these things, so I want to see them work. So yeah, I don't know. You know, the H300 comes in a very stylish white case, as they put it in the spec sheet. So, you know, they call it a smart look for customers. Yeah, bro. It looks smart on the outside, but sure as hell isn't in the inside. Yeah. Again, that guide is literally the most useless piece of paper ever. A quick start guide has more information than the operating instructions for this thing. You know, operating instructions. Yeah, operating. Sure.